There's a kind of intelligence that rarely gets mentioned. You won't find it taught in classrooms or highlighted in textbooks. Nobody openly discusses it, yet everyone instinctively fears its presence. It doesn't seek the spotlight. It doesn't crave applause. It operates in the shadows, quiet, unseen, and precise. You know exactly what I mean. You've encountered it before. The man who never raises his voice, yet somehow commands the entire room. The woman who offers a polite smile while pulling strings that others don't even notice. They speak sparingly, but when they do, people pay attention, not because they're loud, but because their words strike like weapons. This is the essence of dark intelligence. Once you grasp this, your perspective on the world will shift forever. This mind doesn't react impulsively. It observes. It waits. It doesn't plead or argue. It carefully positions itself. It doesn't fight in the open. It finishes matters quietly, efficiently. Machiavelli admired intellect, not just for its brilliance, but for its stealth and power to dominate without being seen. If you've always felt different, not softer, but sharper, this message is for you, because once you unlock this kind of intelligence, you'll never be ordinary again. They won't tell you this in school, in books, or in polite company. Because if people truly understood how dark intelligence works, they would fear you long before you ever moved a muscle. It doesn't start with trying to learn. It begins with the art of noticing. Tactic 1. Leverage silence as control. At first you remain silent. You observe more than you speak. You listen carefully enough to catch the cracks in people's stories. You smile at jokes that aren't funny. Not because you're entertained, but because you're watching who craves approval the most. You're not cold yet, but you're learning. Around you, the world operates on a kind of madness. People quarrel over meaningless things, cling to lies to protect fragile egos, speak loud out of fear, and pretend strength while breaking inside. You watch it all, and slowly, you begin to decode the chaos. It starts with one simple truth. People become predictable when they believe they're safe. That's when you slip in, quietly, almost invisibly. You master the skill of asking the right questions, not to get answers but to make others reveal what they hide. You offer silence as a weapon, letting their unease expose them. You let their emotions write their own confessions. While they believe you're harmless, you're quietly gathering every piece of information. Dark intelligence doesn't crave noise. It moves in stillness. It thrives in the spaces where others let their guard down, feeling too comfortable to protect themselves. This reveals the essential nature of dark intelligence. Calm, observant, and lethal without ever needing to raise a voice. Gradually your mind transforms. You no longer perceive people as they pretend to be, but as collections of utility, weakness, leverage, and risk. You identify the liar before they utter a word, the insecure before they boast, the traitor before betrayal unfolds. You become 5 seconds quicker, 5 steps ahead of the crowd. This shift happens because your mind sheds emotion and adopts tactics. The turning point isn't about getting smarter. It's about abandoning naivety, realizing that truth matters less than what people believe. Trust becomes a tool. Most people are deceiving themselves, and mastering control over their illusions means mastering control over them. This is the essence of dark intelligence. Beyond IQ, charm, or effort. Control through perception. Your words become deliberate weapons, measured and precise, never wasted. You deliver truths like poison, slow, untraceable, irreversible. You stop defending, stop justifying, and cease reacting to disrespect. Instead, you learn to make others regret it silently, without confrontation. You no longer play by their rules. You bend the game to your design. You withhold your full mind, guard your goals, and conceal your pain, because pain is just data to be analyzed. You are becoming someone new, not cold or cruel, but strategic. This phase is what Machiavelli admired most, the mastery of calculated, quiet dominance, through intellect and perception. The silent metamorphosis, when you stop trying to fit into a broken world and begin quietly reshaping it in your image. And the best part, no one realizes what you've become until it's far too late. They still see you as harmless, innocent, just quietly watching. They don't understand they're already caught in your web because you've been planning this for months, maybe years. Now you don't seek power. You are power. This is how dark intelligence is born. Not in sudden flashes of brilliance, but through long, patient hours of observing, understanding, and forging a mind so dangerous it never needs to announce itself. Welcome to the new version of yourself, the one who doesn't chase anything anymore, because now everything comes to you, and no one will see it coming. You've crossed the threshold. You've stopped trying to be liked. You listen more than you speak. You're no longer just intelligent. You're becoming dangerous. But what does that mean? It means you're cultivating traits that normal people fear, even if they can't name them. Here are the 5 core traits of the dangerously intelligent. Silent. Lethal. Tactic 2. Guide conversations. Don't dominate. Trait 1. Emotional disconnection. The first thing people notice about you is you're calm. You don't react the way they expect. Insults don't faze you. Pressure doesn't break you. Because you aren't controlled by emotion. You haven't suppressed your feelings. You've studied them. Your anger turns into analysis. Your sadness becomes strategy. Your fear sharpens your foresight. You don't let emotions dictate your actions. Instead, you let them reveal the emotional vulnerabilities of others. While they scream and panic, you sit in silence, calculating. That silence isn't emptiness. It's the sound of a mind sharpening. Trait 2. Surgical observation. You don't just see people, you dissect them. Your attention is precise and deliberate. Every gesture, every hesitation, every unspoken word is a clue. You watch where others look away. You notice what others miss. You map the hidden connections and unspoken alliances. You understand the code beneath the chaos. Observation is your blade, cutting away illusion to reveal the truth beneath. You don't just look at people anymore, you dissect them. You watch their hands speak, their eyes betray lies, their tone reveal desires. You hear the silence between words. You sense the subtle shifts in tension when someone hides something. Confession isn't needed. You already know. This trait makes you unnerving. People feel truly seen around you, and that terrifies them because deep down, they know you detect their weaknesses. As Machiavelli said, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. You understand this. You expect betrayal and watch for it before it surfaces. Trait 3. Controlled presence. When you enter a room, your presence demands attention without a single word. Your silence shouts louder than others' noise. Why? Because you don't strive to be interesting. You aim to be unreadable. The dangerously intelligent grasp the power of mystery. You reveal just enough to spark curiosity, but never enough to be predictable. People fear what they don't understand, and you cultivate just enough uncertainty to keep them cautious. You've learned that power doesn't come from being everywhere. It comes from being missed when you're gone. You become rare, and rarity is power. Trait 4. Strategic speech. While most people fill silence with words, you speak to plant ideas. Every word is a deliberate move, every sentence a coded signal. You wield pauses, tone, and questions like precision weapons. You don't convince others. You guide them to convince themselves. You speak with surgical accuracy to distract, unsettle, and influence. You know when to compliment, when to withhold, and understand that silence can wield greater impact than any argument. This makes you dangerous, not because you force control, but because once you speak, the conversation bends subtly in your favor, through invisible persuasion. Trait 5. Unshakable self-reliance. This final trait is what shatters average people, but strengthens the dangerously intelligent. You no longer need anyone's praise, anyone's recognition, or even anyone's understanding. You've become your own source of validation. When a person has nothing left to prove, they become untouchable. Attempts to control you through guilt, shame, or obligation fall flat. You've buried the older version of yourself, the one that pleaded for clarity, loyalty, or affection. Now you move like a ghost, appearing when it's strategic, disappearing to let them feel your absence. This is greater than any title or weapon, because the person who needs nothing cannot be manipulated by anything. These 5 traits don't make you human in the conventional sense. They make you an anomaly, a force that unsettles in a world of noise. People can't explain why, but you make them uneasy. That's dark intelligence. And this is just your beginning. Tactic 3. Withhold your whole self. From observation to execution. Dark intelligence is meaningless, if never applied. Power without action is only a secret. Now you transition from sharpening the blade to wielding it in plain sight. Every day, while remaining undetected. Control conversations without dominating them. Most people talk to win, you speak to guide. Let others talk. Let them expose themselves. Your aim isn't to impress, but to extract information. Ask questions that appear innocent, but cut deeply. Why do you think that? How did that make you feel? What happened after that? These open, disarming questions lower defenses, causing people to reveal more than they intend. Your silence lets their discomfort fill the gap, making confessions spill out, while you simply listen. Your passage articulates advanced psychological strategies for influence and control, consistent with the concept of dark intelligence. Here is a concise explanation that synthesizes and clarifies each of your points, locating leverage and subtle influence. You make others feel seen, but your real goal is to identify their vulnerabilities or leverage points. You reveal just enough information to shift their thinking without exposing your own intentions. You are not overtly part of the conversation. Rather, you control it discreetly from within. Silence is a tool of pressure. Silence creates discomfort in most people. They rush to fill it, often revealing more than intended. By remaining silent when manipulated or challenged, you let others drown in their own unease and guilt. Your stillness conveys power without speech, causing others to feel your presence and control without any noise. Mirroring and redirecting emotions. You match others' emotional states, anger, insecurity, pride, to build rapport, then skillfully redirect those emotions in ways that serve your goals. For example, redirecting anger toward a third party or using flattery to manipulate pride. This approach lets people move where you want them voluntarily, believing it to be their own idea, concealing intentions until outcome. After achieving your objective, never explain or reveal your plans prematurely. Allow others to misunderstand and underestimate you. When the results favor you, disclose the truth quietly and coldly, leaving others to realize they unwittingly contributed to their own defeat. An unsettling and effective display of power. Cold, clean use of power. Avoid emotional reactions like punishment or confrontational attack. Instead, operate with cold intention. If you remove obstacles or people, do so efficiently and without emotional residue. This clinical approach ensures you remain untouchable and strategic. Together, these 5 tactics exemplify the practical application of dark intelligence, executing influence and control with subtlety, restraint, and strategic intent to wield power quietly, yet effectively. No shouting, no public spectacle, no aftermath of emotion, just a quiet exile, a door closing with no warning. If someone crosses you, you never respond in the heat of the moment. You wait, you observe, you gather information. Your response comes only when it serves your purpose, not your ego, because dark intelligence isn't about revenge. It's about calculated correction. When you respond, it feels less like a personal vendetta, and more like the universe quietly setting things right. No grudges, just silent, surgical action. Conceal your depth. Never reveal the full extent of your mind. People admire intelligence, but they fear what they cannot understand. Expose only 60%, just enough to earn respect, Never enough to betray your strategy. When people think they have you figured out, they relax. They become sloppy. That's when you... The smartest play is to let others believe they're outsmarting you, leading them straight into the very trap they helped you craft. You don't need a throne to rule, nor status to... Dark intelligence is silent domination. The ability to move people, shape outcomes and control your world, without ever being seen as the orchestrator. That's what Machiavelli meant when he praised the fox over the lion. Anyone can roar in public, but true power is knowing where to tread and whom to bite when nobody's watching. By now your mind isn't just sharp, it's weaponized. And the world won't realize it until it's too late. Tactic 4. Disappear as discipline. The most dangerous arena, relationships, the most treacherous battlefield, isn't war or politics, it's relationships. This is where most people forfeit themselves, trading logic for emotion, giving up power for the illusion of love, loyalty, or guilt. They beg, explain, and surrender control. But when you operate with dark intelligence, relationships transform from emotional traps into arenas of power. Each connection is a battlefield. Here, control is seized or surrendered. Every conversation is not just an exchange, but a negotiation, and you see the game behind every word and gesture. Every compliment becomes a potential bribe. Every silence, a deliberate signal. Most people reveal their intentions far too soon. In their desire to be liked or understood, they spill their fears, their pain, their stories, hoping for acceptance. You, however, remain quiet, not from coldness, but from calculation. You let others speak first, watching them expose their patterns, handing them the rope they'll later tangle themselves with, never realizing you're the one offering it. You withhold your history, keep your standards unspoken, and never rush to correct anyone's misconception. The less they know, the less they can use. Meanwhile, you gather everything. You hear the insecurity hiding within sarcasm, detect the frailty masked by confidence, and see the hidden motive behind calculated kindness. When people try to test your boundaries, you don't react, you simply vanish. In your world, disrespect isn't confronted, it's disqualified. This most never realize. Your silence is more unsettling than any anger. They anticipate a fight, a rebuttal, an explosion. But when you disappear instead, they're left with themselves, and that emptiness feels like absence and punishment all at once. Your distance is more potent than confrontation. Over time, people begin to alter their behavior around you, not because you demanded it, but because your standards are felt in every unspoken boundary. They sense you're different, not seeking approval, not eager to fix or rescue, not endlessly available, and that mystery turns into influence. It's not fear or affection that grants you control, but that silent mutual understanding. You are not someone easily manipulated. People learn there's no shortcut to your attention. That loyalty without strategy earns nothing. That proximity is a privilege you can retract at any moment. You don't punish with words. You punish with your absence, and nothing unsettles a manipulator more than being ignored by the one they couldn't control. Tactic 5. Mirror and redirect emotion. Your current passage eloquently captures the essence of dark intelligence as precision, self-mastery, and silent dominance rather than emotional coldness or reactive behavior. It differentiates this mindset by emphasizing selective emotional attachment, the use of silence and withdrawal as subtle but powerful signals, and cultivating an unpredictable, untouchable presence that commands attention without any overt performance. Dark intelligence is about choosing who sees you and never fully revealing yourself, setting you apart from those who seek constant validation or approval. Silence and stillness become formidable tools, offering no answers, no chasing after apologies, but instead forcing others into regret through your absence. Power in relationships is gained not by controlling others but by mastering yourself, detaching from the need for affection, approval, or understanding. Reaction is replaced by cool, quiet presence. Withdrawal replaces argument, and you become a presence that is simultaneously still, quiet, unpredictable, and untouchable. This presence captivates and influences without charm or performance, but through an almost enigmatic authority that unsettles and commands attention. This conceptualization of dark intelligence aligns with a broader strategic psychology and Machiavellian thought seen in the previous script excerpts. It emphasizes inner refinement into a weapon whose power is inherent, not needing to be brandished to be felt. Your closing passage powerfully encapsulates the ultimate evolution of dark intelligence, a transformation into an unseen but undeniable force, masterfully navigating systems and people without being tracked or challenged. It beautifully contrasts the silent, calculating strategist with the loud, visible competitor, highlighting control through subtlety, prediction, and emotional mastery. Because this is just the beginning, the awakening of a mind that moves beyond the obvious, beyond reaction, beyond expectation. The path to dark intelligence is long, quiet, and relentless. It demands patience, precision, and an unyielding will to see the truth beneath the surface. If you've come this far, you no longer settle for ordinary. You no longer follow the rules laid out by others. You are ready to master the unseen forces that govern human interaction, to shape outcomes with subtlety and power. So take the next step. Embrace the silence, sharpen your vision. Become the ghost in the system they never saw coming. Welcome to the world, where power is silent and intelligence is lethal.